So I pulled a card from the 42 DNA activation cards, Reconnecting Soul deck by Jean Adrienne. I really like these cards. These cards have been so useful and they agree with my principles. They agree with my point of view. They're very expansive. They're not like trapped in some kind of lingo or nomenclature, or you have to turn yourself into a pretzel to kind of get it. Um, so these are helpful. Anyway, so today's card is this. And so as is my practice, I take it in between the soul chakra, about 12 to 15 inches above my head. There's a space between that and my crown chakra. And I just insert it there. And I take that symbol and I feel it as that symbol is going into my body and adding to my brain, my jaw, my neck, my shoulders, my throat, my heart. It's adding to everything I am, right where you are right now. And let it go all the way down your body, interacting with any parts of your body where it's needed. And I'm feeling this most strongly in the crown chakra. My crown chakra is buzzing now. But as I move this energy throughout my whole body, the buzz moves throughout my whole body too. So I can imagine it's giving you a good lift. So this is the Majesty card. And this is what it says. I'm going to put it a little further closer up there so you guys can read it. Oh, we don't have mirroring my video on anywhere today. I seem to have lost where I can find that in my technology. But the Majesty card says, you are one with all that is. But with the supreme knowledge of the divine mind. You are one with the divine mind. You are one with all that is. You are one with the supreme knowledge of the divine mind. So we're doing a little mind meld here with the divine mind on the Majesty card. And two other quotes I want to read from as we wait for the comments to come through and the questions. Oh, wait, questions are already here. Never mind. Good morning, Liz. Liz Buskirk says, my dad is 75. Could I live in his house and help him, or will it, whoops, will it be too futile for me? I get the tenderness with which you're asking this question. You're seeking some kind of reunification with your father, some kind of completion with your father. So, Liz, bring yourself into this present moment with who you are. And imagine, with your eyes closed, imagine a group of children sitting on the floor around you in a semicircle. Just notice how many there are. And these children represent your inner child and certain emotions. And perhaps there's one that's raising its hand. And what I'm seeing is it's a male boy child with a black and white striped t-shirt, sandy blonde hair. And he's been angry for a long time and also hugely sad and disappointed. And so ask this boy who represents anger, sadness, disappointment to sit on your lap. Turn him around so he's hugging you and you are hugging him completely. And just you're pouring love into this inner child. You are loving this child and bringing forth the energy, the attention, the connection that this inner child has always needed. The recognition. You are recognizing this child. You are acknowledging this child. And the emotions of sadness, disappointment, and anger. You may be rocking this child. You may be rocking yourself in your chair. And just recognize that this child is here to help you evolve, to give yourself the acknowledgement you need, the thank yous, the oh, well done, the surprise, nice to see you. Yes, let's connect. And now, with your child sitting on your lap in this way, imagine your father. And I feel like crying now. So I know that your father has experienced much anger, disappointment, and sadness in his life, and very little recognition in his life. And perhaps all three of you are now hugging. All three of you are comforting one another for that anger, disappointment, sadness, lack of recognition. And that within your father is this little boy, and this little boy is actually reaching over and hugging your father, climbing into his arms and hugging your father and comforting him, just being with him, acknowledging his presence, his contribution, his difficulty in understanding life. The framework that didn't, the framework of who a man is to be did not really work for you. And he has been trying to fit himself into that mold for a long time and never really felt successful at it. And so, as you love yourself and as you love him, and as you love this little inner child who is healing both of you with love, acceptance, that sense of it's okay, we'll get through this. It's okay. Let's go play. As you experience this connection with your father, this knowingness, forgive him for behaving, for acting out of his deficits, his lack, his unfulfillment. For you are understanding, you know what is needed here. Now, does your father have an enduring health condition that is probably going to be what kills? Um, he taught me to use marijuana. My mom had to move and moved all the way to Idaho. Divine mind. Okay, great. You get that part. Um, oh boy, you guys are asking some great questions. I hope I can keep visualizing and seeing them. Sometimes Facebook moves them out of my view and I can't find them. But I think Liz, yes, he taught you something that comforted him. And you may find that going and living with him would be good, but maybe try it out on a short-term basis first. Go for an extended visit and feel into this situation. Is it going to be too much for you? If he's in the dying process, it may require more than one person to take care of him. So it may be more than you can handle by yourself. And if you have siblings, or you're going to have to hire people to help or arrange for home health services, HHS, HSSS, whatever it is in California, um, then you might have to make those arrangements. It's going to help him from a distance. Good offer. Great, great. And there will be things he will not let you do. And that we dignify others' path by allowing them to make the decisions they are free to make, as long as it does not harm you. Okay. Okay, good. Teresa says IHSS. That's it. Good, thank you. Okay. I think helping from a distance is a really good idea. Now, what went out of my view is Pat's question, and let's see. Pat's question and Darla's question. I'm gonna just tune into, okay, I think I glimpsed part of your questions. Okay, Darla said, how do I know when I'm learning the lessons that my soul came here to learn? I would say, especially for you, where the doubt just sort of is dispelled, the question goes away. It's sort of like no longer relevant. You don't have this like attachment to the question, this energetic, I've got to figure this thing out feeling. And you'll know when you have assimilated the lesson, when you come to peace with whatever it was. Coming to peace is such a great, well, we desire it so much. And even just coming to peace with the fact that we have lessons and they seem to keep coming, or they seem to morph into new lessons, that as long as we're willing, we will continue to grow. um, um, I got distracted by Liz's comment, sorry. So as you come to peace, Darla, with issues that used to really like keep you up at night, there's even just through acceptance, like, okay, I'm not going to resist you anymore. Come on in. We're here in bed. You want to sleep? Here's a pillow. Like, come on in here. we are one, and knowing that the divine is working in you, through you. Your particular light is your contact point with the light. In general, with the divine's light, with the oneness and the wholeness to which we are all a part, of which we are all a part. And when we come to that level of acceptance and non-resistance, that's when you know you're probably in an integration period, and you're no longer fighting. You're no longer resisting what's so. Okay. Teresa and Liz, you two might want to have a conversation and to get to on the same page. Teresa knows a lot about the IHHS system. I mean, a lot. She's very wise in this area. So I think Liz, she might be a good resource for you. Um, but I want to go to Pat's question. Cryptocurrency. It is coming, and it's kind of 100-year process, Pat, for us to accept cryptocurrency and to work through the learning cycle that is coming on to for hundreds and hundreds of years. Humanity has invested so much power into our version of coins, our version of dollars, have given it so much authority that the idea that there are other forms of money, and it's not just like, say, the British pound or the Italian lira, or the euro, or there are other forms of money I can't remember the names of, but that under other countries' forms of money. But we have given all of this so much power, and to draw back our power and bring it into our interior and bring it into, they're using these words, divine holding in grace, in God's grace, the divine's grace. That money is just a medium of exchange. It is truly only symbolic. It is symbolic. There's no intrinsic money power. There's no intrinsic power in money, but that which we give it. But the exchange is energetic. It is perceived value. And it is an energetic equality. I will give you 2 hours of my time and expertise if you give me XYZ. 178 right now for readings through the end of the month. Intent. And so it's a long process. And it's a long process of believing in cryptocurrency. And that since there's so many out there right now, I think it's going to take a while for certain ones to level up to being, if cryptocurrency A is equal to cryptocurrency B, and if they can work together, or if they can be exchanged for one another. As that comes into acceptance on a belief level, then there will be the perceived idea of energy exchange, the perceived value will be invested in these symbols, as if they are an exchange of, I'm going to give you so many reals for so many of your euros, for so many of your cryptocurrencies, and they're all of equal value. They all intrinsically work as perceived value, then yes, it will be. I think in the next 25 years, it's going to just really be taking off, but there are going to be some crashes. There are going to be some mishandling, people running off with the current idea of cash that they issued shares of some kind of cryptocurrency for. There's going to be some misdealings, and not only with our dear president and his family, but many others. But no one can take our autonomy, our sovereignty, our understanding of our independence, our unique light, our consciousness. No one can steal that. And it is really this, how much have I given away of my power to this perceived value, right or wrong? You know, our point of view changes. So it might be right this week, it might be wrong next month. That kind of thing. But yes, I think we are trying very hard as a race to have a new experience of money. A new experience of what it is to have a perceived value exchanged for a perceived receipt, something that you were wanting. Okay. Teresa says, I'm afraid of crypto and think easy to scam ignorant people like myself. I'm in that category with Teresa. I'm really right there. Also, my brother believes in it. He's made money in it. It works for him. He actually wrote some kind of book that I have not read about money, so I might have to get it. Let's see. Now, so that was Pat, and that is Pat's the same. Me too, yeah. And you know, it's I'm sure that my distrust of cryptocurrency is from fear, truly. It is completely from fear. It's because I fear my own ignorance and my own disempowerment around money. I mean, I give my money to, you know, wealth managers to invest and try to make it work out for me. And I mean, I give my taxes to some giant government entity to distribute it to roads and schools and welfare of other people and welfare of myself. I mean, there's a lot of, okay, I'm trusting here that we have taken for granted. And yet, you know, can I get cryptocurrency in that same category? Do I take for granted that it's going to work for me? Let's see. I'm so glad, Liz. You may have to have your father help your father arrange to sell some of these cars, or have him, because he needs to unload ownership weight, and I'm sure he has to house these cars if they are valuable in indoor settings, so that they to retain their value, and this is an expense and so forth. But I think that whole concept of, I have fear of money, I have fear of losing money. And I'm, you know, of course, gambling. Yes, exactly. Pat says, yeah, that's exactly it. And I am not a gambler. I go to, my gambling limit has been $20 since I was 16 years old. And it hasn't gone up at all, even though I'm now 67. So I'm not a gambler. And, that's as much money as I am willing to lose in a gambling setting. And it better be fun, like craps, like something lively, not like poker faced and I'm hiding a secret and I'm trying to be sharper than thou. I'm not. And there's another situation. I have total ignorance about it, so I don't play there. It's too risky and it evokes more fear. I that sort of thing. And when I'm trying to remember all the time. The divine's in charge of money. The divine is in charge of my perception of my perceived value. Am I getting what I perceive as equal value for my money? And do I trust those involved to help me obtain the value that I so desperately want? And so much stake in it, emotionally speaking. I mean, it's such a chargy situation. Suppression of women and money. Okay, top of the list. My biggest charges, right? But the divine remembering the divine and her grace is my sufficiency. The divine and her grace is my maintenance. Her divine and her grace is that which heals me now. And there is not but this moment. This is the moment of power now where I get to realign my fears, realign with my own integrity about what feels right, what feels good, what feels important, priority, how this is going to work out. There you go. And Liz, do you need to pay paid for your father's work, for helping your father? You know, good. Well, thank you, Liz. I love all your responses. I really appreciate that. That helps me a lot when I'm doing these. I don't know what lands and what doesn't if there's no conversational back and forth. And I certainly appreciate the fact that you're responding to each of these intuitive comments. Also, let us heal our systems of money, which is the symbolic exchange of energy, that my 2 hours of labor is your $2. You know, certainly not my medium, the rate. It doesn't matter, but you get this idea. Can I come into a sense of peace and comfort, knowing that the divine is the truth of my maintenance and supply, and not this thing we call money, a coin, a paper piece that we have guarded and safeguarded and locked away. And there's mine and there's yours. And actually, there's mine and not mine. And I usually want some of yours. you know? I perceive myself as not having enough, and that in itself is a limitation and unplugged, disconnected from divine source. So if I can realign with divine source for all resources, human, monetary, transportation, time, occupation, service, the divine is in charge of all of that. And this is where my allegiance should be, not on money, because that's it's a fig Newton of my imagination. It's a human agreement based kind of on nothing, especially since it's not backed by gold, but even gold is perceived value, disconnected from the divine. So if I invest my valuing in divine maintenance and supply, divine guidance, divine care, then I can relax my shoulders and not fight or fear or defend money. Mine, not mine. Right, wrong, good, bad, friend, foe. This has been an illuminating, very, very, very illuminating. Teresa says 100%. Thank you. And feel free to remind me, because I do this all the time. I mean, I have no idea how to set the prices for my work. You know, I at truth, I feel most alive when I'm helping, when I'm doing what I had the gift to do. As I posted recently, my gifts need to be expressed and they need to be shared. And if they don't get shared, they kind of rot inside me. They can mold, or they turn on me. And so, you're helping me by giving me an opportunity to do something hopefully useful for all of you. But I'm as forgetful as the next human being. I disconnect from the divine as easily as the next human being. And I have to reconnect and realign myself and just climb back into the lap of the divine. She's ready for me, always. She is constant. And it's not like the divine ever withholds anything from me. I'm the withholder. I'm the one who says, that's not enough. I don't trust you. I'm not going to get what I want. You don't have my best interest at heart. No, they don't. It's not their business to have my best interest at heart. It's their business to take care of themselves. And so they will. And you can count on it. But it's in my best interests to reunite with the divine and let her direct me step by step, prayer before action, energy work before action. And being in alignment with the divine just sorts out all the details of my life. And thank God, because one too many details is usually, I'm in overwhelm right over the brink. And so it is. Welcome to the human game. We've been playing it for thousands of years. How much of the man-made ideas can I let go of? And how much of divine life force, divine grace can I accept? Can I receive? My receiving and my giving generally pretty well balanced. I don't know, I feel like crying again when I talk about receiving and giving being in balance. You know, throughout my entire life, I've been given so much. People who love me, who support me, people who let me move in with my 100-pound dog into their house for a couple of months when I am having trouble getting out of bed and walking to the bathroom when my MS was really bad. People who cared that much. My mother, who fed me 3 meals a day, cared for me when I was too sick, when I had no right arm to work with, couldn't fold my own laundry. You know, she never complained, never once. And it's not like she was stuffing it either. I, I, I would venture to say she was glad to do it. And it's so amazing to me that people would do that for me. And which fuels my desire to care for my mother at an equal or better level as she ages. And she's 93 now, still bright, still sharp, still capable. I mean, for Pete's sake, she got a cochlear implant when she was 91 and adapted very. That's for someone who's been wearing hearing aids since she was in her 20s. That's amazing. I mean, she's a resilient person and very giving, very giving. Pat says, accept that you are loved. Yes. And I think the tears are just overflow. It's realization, it's divine flow overflowing. And that gives me the wherewithal to keep going, to keep doing what I do, to keep expressing this, to keep learning. I have so much to learn, so much to learn. And I mean spiritually. The rest of the stuff, this is kind of the earth stuff, sidelines. that's a they're subcategories of major topics. But no, it's the major topic, that biggest thing is evolving spiritually, growing spiritually, expanding my consciousness, climbing out of my perceived limitations and climbing into the lap of the divine and seeing through her eyes. Now that is like, doesn't it feel good? Seeing through the divine's eyes. Oh, all right. Shall we all accept that we are loved? And the humans love us to the best of their abilities. And we love them to the best of our abilities. And if we didn't do as much as we thought we should have, we're probably correcting it now, either with those individuals or somewhere else in our lives to balance things out. It doesn't always have to be apples to apples, oranges to oranges. I learned this in when I was getting sober, and the ninth step says, made direct amends wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Well, my former husband and I had defrauded an car insurance company out of $24,000. And I don't know that he would say it was defrauding, because he was injured, but not necessarily from that event. But he wasn't on the Get Sober program. He wasn't anywhere near the ninth step. That was not his perspective, but I was. And I had to make amends for that. And I had no way of paying it back. I couldn't ever do, I didn't have the wherewithal to do that. I didn't have money. I didn't have the ability to work enough to earn it at that point because my MS was getting really bad. But I volunteered at the women's Marin Services for Women, Marin Services for Women. It was a women's treatment center, and they could have their children under the age of 5 with them. And I volunteered there for 8.5 years. And that made things equal in my heart. It balanced things out. And in truth, it was not payment at all. I was receiving the whole time because I was receiving acknowledgement. I was receiving the fact that I knew what it meant to be a sober person. I knew that I had to integrate divine dependence into my life rather than self-will and dependence on self. No, not Moss. That's Marin Abused Women's Services. This is Marin Services for Women. And but I was receiving every day, every time I was there, tenfold of what I was giving out. And I think it even gave me more confidence to be myself and to work on spiritual principles like make amends where necessary. And, right, folks. I'm just being told that's the end. Can I read these two? I can do anything I want. I'm going to read these two quotes that I've been working on the last couple of days. Neutralizing all self-centeredness, I come to the great creatress, the divine, that she may fill me full of herself. Fill me with her wisdom, her peace and glory, and make me a fitting instrument on earth for her love. That's kind of the statement of my ideals. This is another way to put it. I am an empty vessel without desire, hope, ambition, or fear. I am receptive to the great creatress, the divine. I have no agenda. I serve the great creatress, the divine. May her will be done in me, through me, and around me. And so it is. I love you all. I thank you so much for being here. And thank you all for being so earnest on your own growth, expansion, consciousness, enlarging, own spiritual heart expansion. I thank you all for being on the path with me, shoulder to shoulder, helping each other. So I am. Thank you. And if you would like to subscribe, share, like these videos, I would deeply, deeply appreciate it. It really helps the algorithm work on my behalf. And if you need to get a hold of me and see if I'm the right person for you to help you with some topics, just email me at anniechannels@gmail.com. I am available. I can be reached. I can be of service to you. And we can even just explore and see if there's a match there, if I have what you want. Thank you.